Welcome to Title Talk, a podcast for real estate investors where we cover tips, tricks, and trends in the industry.
This podcast is all about providing valuable insights to help you maximize your investment opportunities.
Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, Title Talk is the place to stay in the know and get inspired.
So grab your headphones, tune in,
files.
Let's
So
start Title.
the guys that was using, yeah.
Hello and welcome to Title Talk. New time, new day, new opportunities. I don't think we've ever done this on a Monday. So we're starting the week out strong. I'm super excited to have the conversation today where we are going to be talking about leveraging opportunities that you and I and our community have every single day with networking. It's a big piece of the business, and what not to do, how to leverage opportunities to maximize all of that. And Jamil is back from community camp, so we are going to get an update on what happened there.
Hi.
Hi.
Wow. How you
You're
doing,
back.
Gina?
I'm
back.
good. Your neighbor's house is for sale.
Yes.
Yes.
This one right over
yeah.
here.
Have
Yeah.
you
So,
looked at it? Maybe you extend the compound?
well, I mean, he's a little out to lunch on what he's expecting for price. I hope he gets it, honestly, but it's not. No, he wants $1.2 million for the house. He's done no work to it. It's like original condition.
Tear down.
Yeah, it's a tear down.
Yeah.
It's a tear down. And so I think 1.2 mil is a little bit
Steep.
a little.
A little, a lot.
Again, I really do hope he gets it, but I don't believe that he can get 1.2 million now. Here's the thing. I think why he thinks he'll get 1.2 is across the road, they tore a house down and they bought it for 1.2. But there's a difference between this lot and that lot. This lot over here, all the lots on this side of the road are half an acre. All the lots on that side of the road are 0.6.
Oh.
Okay, so they've got an additional, I don't know,
Tenth of an
of an acre. So like another 4,000 or 5,000 square feet on the lot.
It's a guest house. It's a cabana. Like
yeah, it is. It's significant.
It
right?
is, yeah.
And then on top of that, we back commercial. So, you know, I always talk about this on the appraisal rules. When you back commercial, there's a significant discount for backing commercial or siding commercial, fronting commercial. Traffic. And so that lot at 1.2 makes sense. This 800. So his agent doesn't understand the nuance of how that affects value. Yeah. And now, again, I could be totally out to lunch and someone might see that and say, oh my God, half an acre in Arcadia or Arcadia Light, and I want it, even though it's like super overpriced. I truly hope he gets it. So I'm praying for him. I'm rooting for him, wishing him. Yeah, because if he gets 1.2 for that house, then this here is worth 3.
That's not a bad gig.
Yeah, and if he doesn't get 1.2, I think he's going to get 800 for it. Then it's still worth 2.5, which is what I think it's worth. So all that, yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing really good. How about yourself?
I'm good. How was camp?
Man, oh man. Camp was great for me. Not so much for Bobby, because he's got inflamed lymph nodes now, and he's having to drink green juice. And he you know, sometimes nature can get the best of us. You know what I mean? I think it got the best of him, but we had a good time. We had a really good time.
I saw you in a cowboy hat.
I was wearing a cowboy hat.
Giddy up.
I mean, it was just like really good people, right? It was 400 or 500 incredible human beings all converged on this little tiny town in Montana. We woke up every day and walked. Like Bobby would walk half a mile to go get him and his girl some coffee. Every morning I would walk around the neighborhood and I'd take like an hour and a half, 2 hour long walk every morning.
That's beautiful.
And just like breathe and enjoy the pines and wave at neighbors. Yeah, they were like, you know, I think Bob's words were like, it's a slice of Americana, but it was like, that's what it was. You know, like you wake up, you walk outside and there's kids riding their bicycles up and down the cul-de-sacs. And when you walk by the children, they wave at you and they say, "Good morning, sir." When
you mean they say hi to you?
Yes. They
that
say
doesn't
hello to
happen
you.
when you walk down the street here.
They say hello to you. The people who own the house, the people living in the homes actually got out of their house and mowed their own lawn, which you don't see here in Arizona. In Arizona,
very rare.
Very few people who own their property are doing the maintenance on their property. I'm not going to get into the demographics of who's doing what, but in Montana, it's the owner of the home coming out and mowing their lawn, right? So it's like, it's just people get back to the basics of what it meant to like own your house, take care of your stuff, look after your children. It was
probably safe for the kids to run around and
big time,
play.
big time. The only creep in the neighborhood was Bobby.
Oh, poor Bobby. He gets a bad rep.
No, he doesn't. He's not a creep. I'm just playing with him. He's too sick to fight back, so I'm getting in the shots that I can get in. But yeah, we had a really good time. And then of course, Pace knows how to throw a party better than any human being I know. So you better believe that we like ate well, we rested, we got to see beautiful sights. Like Jerry Norton's house is on the lake, and it's just amazing. It's so beautiful. The water is pristine. You can get out and jet ski, you can wakeboard, surf, all the things. And then Pace lives on 20 acres out there.
20 acres.
20 acres.
Wow.
And he's got like a $10,000 farmhouse, 10,000 square foot farmhouse.
Okay.
And it's like a mansion, right? Like a mansion farmhouse.
Did he build it or?
It was built. So he bought it creatively. He
doesn't surprise me.
He bought it for $1 down and took over, I don't know how many millions in the loan, but at like under 4%. So, Pace does what he does. He bought it creatively, and he's enjoying every minute of it. He's got a pickleball court there, in-ground trampoline. He got goats. One of the goats is going to be named Jamil.
Woo! The goat.
So all the things about it were just really, really special. And I'm so grateful that I had a chance to be out there, to have my homeboy with me, get some, beautiful time with my friends, beautiful community. And I felt, I'm surprised that he came back feeling sick, honestly, because I came home feeling like energized and well oxygenated. But he was moving, he was doing a lot. It was a lot. Like, again, when you're doing stuff like that, you're on all the time. Bobby had to take, I don't know, maybe 5,000 pictures. God knows how many times he had to shoot the button. But it was work, but it was still really, really, really fulfilling. So
awesome.
I enjoyed it. All good times. And I got to hang out with Bobby's girl, who I hadn't really gotten to know until that week together. And she's just delightful.
She looks adorable.
Yeah, super
they look
adorable.
Really happy together.
Super adorable girl. They were super fun. We got to do a road trip up to Glacier National Park, which was really, really beautiful. It was great. I mean, there was nothing that when I left there, I was like, "Aw." And I like it when I leave a place a little sad for leaving.
Yeah.
Because you're like, then you had a blast and you're excited to go back. Right.
And you didn't overstay your welcome either.
Exactly.
Right. Because like sometimes when you go on trips, it's like, I probably should have left a day earlier.
Yeah. I've had that before as well.
So
none of that.
Yeah. And what were your biggest takeaways? Like what?
That's a great question. So one thing that I think I noticed was look for rooms where there's a filter on it.
Oh yeah. The barrier to entry
is important. And, I can tell you that there's a huge difference in the level of conversations that happened because everybody who was at community camp, they were a part of our Owners Club community. So Pace and I created a new community from Squad Up Summit called Owners Club. These are people who actually own businesses with Pace and I, right? So we're creating a CRM. There's like there's an AI cold calling software. There's these different companies that Pace and I are bringing to the market
and developing,
and the owners club are all participating as owners in those companies with us.
In all the companies, or just the ones that
all the ones that we're bringing to owners club, right?
Cool.
So in addition to that, now think of that. We're two of the biggest marketers in the space. So if we're going to bet on two horses that we're going to be able to make a business go in this, it would be Pace Morby and hopefully Jamil Damji, right? So with that, they get the power of us.
You've already vetted these other businesses.
Of course.
Like you've already figured out all of
we wouldn't be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in developing a business that we wouldn't think was going to go.
And you already put your own money in there, your own due diligence, all the things.
Correct. So we're bringing those companies to the owners club. But in addition to that, they are in a curated room, right? And so they're all higher level people with higher level situations, higher level networking opportunities, business opportunities, ideas. And like when you're walking into a conversation that people were having there, they were talking about deals in the millions. They were talking about raising capital in the tens of millions, right? And so for me, being in a room where that's the level of participant, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would say my biggest takeaway for anybody tuning in right now was, look, it's not that people ask all the time because they've heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people that you hang around with. Right. And so people who are just becoming, just getting into entrepreneurship, that are just starting their journeys, they often ask, how do I get myself around better people? Right? None of my friends are in entrepreneurship. None of my friends are financially free. All of my friends drink all weekend long. They live for the weekend. They're not living for their life, right? They do a job that they hate for 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. And they have a little bit of time on the weekend where they numb themselves with alcohol, marijuana, and mindless chatter and back talking and backbiting and garbage gossip, just to wake up on Monday morning to do it all over again.
Right. No, like I've had friends that have literally been dating somebody and they're like, I really like this guy, but he needs better friends.
Yeah. Right.
He's got to level up.
And so when you're in that kind of a situation, right? When you're my dog for president. Yes. Patrick,
Henry would love it.
I love you, bro. When you're in those types of rooms, the frequency is different. The conversations are different. The level of help is different. The level of idea is different. And so I would say that if you're looking out, if you're out there, you're like, man, I just need to put myself in a room around better people. Then find a room with a barrier to entry. Find an opportunity. I'm not telling you to come join Owners Club. It's closed anyways. We're not taking any new members, but there are other opportunities out there. There are other rooms where you can get in. And of course, you're going to need to write a check to get into a room like that. You're not going to get into those rooms for free. It costs money to put together experiences like that, right? I would say Pace probably spent upwards of $200,000 to $300,000 preparing for the people who came to community camp. People who came to community camp, of course, they covered their own airfare and they covered their hotel, but everything else otherwise was taken care of.
That's amazing.
And so there's that aspect of it. There's the reality that when you are in these rooms, these become your friends, they become your network, and then you're having better conversations. You're doing different things on the weekend. You are going on different vacations.
You get invited to different places.
You get invited to different things. It's a complete shift in your life, right? Yeah. And then your lifestyle elevates. And then when your lifestyle starts to elevate, your mind starts to elevate, your conversations elevate, then everything around you starts to elevate.
No, I can see that.
Right? Yeah. So I highly recommend that for people. I think get out there, find better rooms, find better opportunities, look for a filter, stop running out of, look, how many, and I'm only going to say this one more time here because I'm not trying to like rub it in the face of the people who didn't take action at Squad Up Summit, but I've had dozens upon dozens of DMs from people saying, how can I get in now?
Oh, too late.
Hey, Jamil. Hey, what can I do to get in? I messed up. I should have, it was whatever. These are the same people that when it came time to making the decision, their asses ran out of the room.
Yes.
Right. They were like, oh my God, I'm going to need to spend some money. And they were like out the room, you know, in the bathroom, hiding, like pretend they got uncomfortable. They wanted to run away. Then after the fact, they see what it's about and they're like, oh shoot. And now it's like, that's not how people who elevate in their life and who do things make decisions. So find those rooms when it comes time to participate in a room like that. Put your big boy or your big girl pants on, write the check, and get around better people. I remember as well when I wanted to be, there was a mastermind that I bought myself and Pace a ticket to, entrance into. It was $30,000.
Wow.
I bought it for myself and I bought Pace's seat too as a gift for him one year.
That's awesome.
So $60,000. I wrote the check, gave it to the dude. Okay. Now, ask me what that mastermind produced in terms of gold nuggets of information.
It's probably still paying off.
Okay. The relationships that I met, I didn't get a single strategy out of that mastermind that helped me. Not one strategy that made me any money. But what I got out of there were 2 relationships. And those 2 relationships have already made me millions of dollars. Millions of dollars.
Well worth the investment.
So I spend $60,000 and the return on investment was millions. And it wasn't even about the information. It was about getting in a room of people that were willing to write a check to be in the room with other people willing to write a check to be in a room with other people writing a check to be in the room.
Get in better rooms.
That's it.
Yeah. When I was early in my career, I remember people were approaching me to be on boards, right? Professional boards, charity boards, things like that. And part of my vetting process was I want to be one of the youngest people in there. I want to be one of the least experienced. And I want to still have something that I can uniquely bring to the table to contribute. Today, that still rings true.
Yeah.
If I'm considering, staying on a board or getting off of something and getting onto something else, it's still part of the process.
Right. So, I know today we wanted to talk about networking events, right? And so this is a beautiful segue into the conversation because it's really important, that you do show up to networking. Now, not all networking events and masterminds have to be paid. This goes to the very basics. Let's start at the basics, okay? Because Stephanie's in the chat right now. Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie says, I wanted to join, but I didn't have a deal yet. And it was a higher level. It was for a higher, for people who were already doing business. And so she's right. She wasn't, she didn't meet the criteria to have been in that room.
But
right?
She did meet the criteria to be in the room where she was offered the opportunity, right?
Correct.
So we're talking about tips that apply to those people too.
But exactly. So Stephanie did take action and she did get her butt to Squad Up Summit, where she even learned about and Stephanie and I had a wonderful conversation at Squad Up Summit, and her and I have been trying to connect again. But she now has a relationship with me where I even reached out to this person, right? And so she has a very high level relationship in her back pocket now that she made coming to an event like Squad Up Summit, right? And what did she do to develop that relationship? She showed up, she was vulnerable, she was honest, and she in earnest wanted to make a connection.
Well, she made a connection with you that was memorable too. Of
course.
Right?
Of course.
And you remembered her. Now you're talking on the live stream and you know exactly who she was.
I know exactly who she is. I've been DMing actually personally, my team DM'd her, but my team, they sent her message to me and was like, hey, this individual and you need to chat. And I remembered exactly who she was. I was like, got it. A couple of days ago, I gave her a call. I didn't catch her, but we're going to be playing tag and we will respond. We will find each other. Yeah. She has my phone number. She has texted me back. And so that's a relationship that she has, right? Yep. And
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal to make these relationships. And you never know who you're going to be able to become friends with in a situation like that. You never know who's going to resonate with you, who you're going to resonate with, and how these relationships and these doors open, right? Because the reality is Pace Morby, for instance, wasn't Pace Morby when we were going to the Real Estate Disruptors networking events back in the day when they were at Dave & Buster's here in Tempe.
No,
Jamil Damji wasn't who I became and those times either. right? We were just a couple of dudes doing deals, hanging out in the back of the room where anybody had an opportunity to come up and shoot the shit and talk stuff and do business with us, right? And so you never know who you're going to meet at these events. Grant Cardone was one of these people at one of these events once upon a time. And so many people are friends with him because of those early relationships. So networking events, how do you prepare for them?
Yes.
What type of events should you be looking for? How should you find these events? What are the intentions you need to set when you go to these events? These are the topics, folks, that we're going to address today, because as you guys are coming out of the summer, there's going to be plenty of opportunities. In fact, right out the gate, I can tell you about one that's coming up, Clever Summit. Phenomenal event. Bobby's going to put a link to Clever Summit in the chat shortly. It's in my IG bio. Yep. But Clever Summit, okay, there's going to be 3,000 real estate professionals there. I think the ticket right now is like $200.
That's so cheap.
$297 or whatever. Just get a general admission ticket. I'm not telling you to go off and buy the VIP. Buy the VIP if you want the VIP. But again, if you're on a budget, do budget things.
Yep.
Okay. And nobody's telling you to go and break the bank and be, weird about it. But go get your ass to that event. Right? There's going to be 2,000 to 3,000 people in Florida who are all going to be there to do the same thing, which is connect with each other, do JV deals with each other, be private money lenders to each other, be private money partners with each other, to provide resources, to provide help. And it's folks just like you that are going to be in that room, right? So you look at a Clever Summit, $297 for a general admission ticket. What kind of ROI can you get from a $297?
You have one
room?
quality conversation. It could change your life.
I mean, you can 10x, 100x that.
Yeah, easy.
100x that, right? So when you do go to these events, look for, am I going to get a lot of bang for my buck, right? If you're going to travel, I wouldn't say ever travel to a networking event where there may be 200 or 300 people. That doesn't really make a lot of sense.
No.
If you're going to go to an event where there's going to be 200 or 300 people, go to a local event, right? Do that in your local city or whatever that is. That makes sense to me. But when you're going to travel, you're going to spend money on flight, or you're going to spend money on hotel or whatever. See who are the people that are putting the event on. What are the speakers going to be there? What kind of vibe will these speakers attract, right? And if you're at that type of an event where there's going to be, now who's speaking at the Clever Summit?
Yeah, I'm curious.
It's Patrick Bet-David. Okay. Now he's a polarizing individual, right? I like Patrick. He's honestly.
Not liked by everybody.
He's not liked by everybody. He's liked by some people. And I think that he has some pretty interesting positions on specific topics.
Well, I think you'll find that with a lot of speakers,
people,
right? Like you're not going to love everything that they're going to have to say 100% of the time. I mean, the bigger they get, the more controversial they can become. True.
Patrick Bet-David's one headliner. Ryan Serhant, another headliner. Mm-hmm. Again, Pace Morby, myself, Chris Crone, Cody Sperber. So you already know the vibe. Yeah. Right? You know the vibe. You know who the folks are that are going to be there. It's going to be full of real estate investors, wholesalers, fix and flippers, people who follow me. Why they follow me is because of the information that I deliver. That's the vibe. That's who are going to be in this room. For the $297 that the ticket costs, if you only talk to the people in front of you, to the right of you, to the left of you, and behind you, you're going to find an ROI.
That's like door knocking for an open house.
Right? Well, you like even if you were that introverted, where you're like, the only thing that I need to do is talk to the person in front of me, the person beside me, to the right and to the back, and do that every day of the event. If that was your only networking, you would get an ROI in that event.
Yep, 100%.
So that's my, that's how I would be looking for them in terms of how to prepare for an event like that, right? So there's a person in the Astro community who I think has done a phenomenal job of making himself memorable in a positive way. Yeah, memorable in a positive way. So let's talk about ways that you could be memorable in a not so positive way, because I know that you've seen this. Give us some examples of what that looks like.
Yeah, like what not to do, right? Don't be a creep. I mean,
what's that? What is a creep?
Don't give up a creeper vibe. Okay, so like if you're going to come up to me at a networking event and we've never had a conversation, you haven't even introduced yourself, and you're going to try to take a selfie and tag me on Instagram, that's probably weird. Totally not going to be my vibe. If I want to take a picture with you, I'll suggest it.
Yeah. Now, I can say that I have a lot of randos that walk up to me at events and want to take selfies.
But as a man, that's probably a little different.
It's different, and I'm okay with it. What I would really love, though, would be instead of wanting to come, because like what I think happens at some of these events is people are there just to get the picture.
Yeah,
just and even for a guy like me, for instance, why do I remember Stephanie?
She probably had like an engaging conversation with you.
She had a question. She had something that she wanted to talk to me about that was heartfelt.
And it was significant. It was
authentic, vulnerable, and real. And we had a memorable conversation. And so now I'm never going to forget Stephanie because of that conversation.
Yes.
Right? Robin Hurt. Okay. Robin Hurt is an incredible person. She's a memorable human being, right? When I see her, what does she typically do when she comes to an event like that? Robin will always come bearing pie.
Oh, that's great.
She bakes a pie.
That's awesome.
And she figures out how to get a pie to me at an event. So now, will I ever forget Robin Hurt?
Absolutely
not. Not a chance I'm going to forget. And I'm not telling you guys all to bring me a pie because that's Robin's thing, right? We're pied out. But like she makes herself memorable, right? And every time we're back there and we're having a piece or bite of the pie, people are asking, oh, who brought this pie? It's delicious. Oh, Robin Hurt did. Oh, how cool is that? So her name's coming up in conversations. It's thoughtful, it's kind, and it's like, and then people in our position are like, we want to kind of help Robin. We want to connect the dots. We want to give her, maybe introduce her to somebody, whatever that is. But either way, we love Robin. I
bet after the first time she asked you what your favorite pie was.
I actually, whatever pie she makes is pretty damn good.
They're all good.
She's apple though. I'm an apple pie guy, but yeah. I like blueberry pie too now. I've become a fan of blueberry pie, but apple pies and blueberry pies I think are my favorite. I'm not a fan of the red berry.
Cherries or the raspberry.
Yeah, too tart. Like, give me an apple pie, give me a blueberry pie, and we're
pie is a symbol of the American dream and homeownership.
100%. And you should see the things that happen. It's okay. Everyone's seen that movie. Anyways, so the selfie thing. Let's talk about that because I get it. It's like, especially if you're gonna talk to a woman, it might be weird to just run up and be like, take a picture, right?
Yeah.
But why not, instead of just wanting to take a picture, right? Why not come and have a one-line value statement that you
value proposition
that you could say to people, myself included, that could be exciting, provide an opportunity, solve a problem, or give me the ability to help you connect the dots, right? That allow me to do what I love to do, which is being helpful and connect people. So when you approach someone with that, instead of, hey, can we take a picture? Right? Now, what could an example of that be? For instance, okay, so let's just say you and I, right?
Yes.
I want a relationship with you for a title business, and let's just say I peep you out and I'm like, okay, I want to go meet Dina Jones. I never met her before. I want to go meet Dina Jones. I know she's in title, and we do, X number of files a month. And I'm tired of overpaying on title. So I want to try to make a relationship with Dina so that I can get investor rates on my title business. So I'm not going to walk up to Dina Jones and say, hey, Dina, you look great today. I love your shoes. Can we take a selfie and then walk away?
No,
that's not going to serve the purpose, right? I'm going to walk up and I'm going to say, hi, Dina, I'm Jamil. I do roughly 30 to 40 new opens at our current wholesale business. I'm looking to expand that, but what I really want to do is start really making more efficient our operations. And I'm seeing that we're spending a lot of money on title and escrow. And I'm wondering if you provide investor rates. And if you do provide investor rates, what are the things that Fidelity Title could do for my business that could help me grow that from 30 files a month to 60 files a month. Right?
Yeah.
Now
Well, you've got my attention.
I've got your attention because now you see, hey, there's an opportunity for me to do business with this guy. Or
he's intentional.
He knows
what he wants.
He knows exactly what he's after.
Yep.
He had a problem that he wants a solution for.
And
he knows that I have the solution for that problem. So he came armed with the appropriate conversation to have.
100%.
So think about that, right? When you're going to these events, if you want to go and talk to the influencer or the speaker talking, good, do it. But come with something interesting.
And do your homework at a time. I feel like in the world of social media, it's really easy to figure out how you can have that conversation with anybody that's one of those speakers.
Correct.
Like their life is semi-exposed on social media.
It is. I mean, another example, Squad Up Summit. This incredible guy came up to me and said, hey, man, I was following you all of last year, and I saw you went through some hard stuff. And I made you something I wanted to give to you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, what is that? I already have enough pie. And he was like, hold on a second. And he went into his bag, and he pulled out a keychain. And on the keychain was Beasto.
Oh.
Yeah, my dog who passed away.
Yeah.
Right. And he gave it to me. And he says, it broke my heart when I saw how much it hurt you when your dog died. I made this for you back then, and it's been almost a year since that happened, but I've been carrying this with me, knowing that I'll find you and see you one day. And here's a gift. Now, I mean, come on.
But that's so thoughtful.
So thoughtful, right? It's a now if that guy then reached out to me on Instagram and said, hey, could you help me out dispoing a property? Or could you comp this house for me? I'm having a hard time figuring out.
Yes.
And would I say to him, see me straight at a comp in and wait in line like everybody else?
No.
And how many times have I just comped a house for a random person in my IG? I do it all the time.
Yeah.
If I have an opportunity and time to do it, I do it.
But you'll prioritize somebody.
But I would, yeah, because I'll never forget the fact that this guy did something that was kind, right? And he thought about me, and it warmed me up that he did that, right? So it's like thinking about stuff ahead of time, right? When you look at the speakers that are coming to Clever Summit, every person there may be only one or two people on that speaker panel or the speaker list that you want to meet. For instance, I'll tell you who I want to talk to. Ryan Serhant, cool. All right. He's a TV dude. I'm a TV dude. You're a luxury listing guy. You have really nothing that's going to be super interesting to me. I like the way you dress, but I'm never going to dress like you. So I probably don't need to hang out with you much. Right. Again, none of that was meant to be derogatory or mean. Just real, right.
Just out of everybody on the lineup, he's not the one that you're going to gravitate towards first.
Correct. Patrick Bet David, on the other hand, I want to be on that dude's podcast. I want to be on his podcast. I want to get introduced to the Valuetainment family and I may not get onto Patrick's podcast first. In fact, I'm not even going to presume that he's going to put me on his podcast.
I know you're not going to lead with that.
I'm not going to lead with that.
There's no way.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I know you guys are constantly looking for real business people to put on the different shows that you have at Valuetainment. I'd love to be considered for whatever opportunity would be available. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming out and being a part of this today. Right? That's it.
Yeah.
And then I would find a way to give him my information so that we could exchange or find out who the point person would be on his team for me to reach out to.
That's an easy question to ask, right?
But for me, that's what I want out of that relationship, right? So I'm going to figure out how to get that from him. Mark my words, you guys are going to see this. I'm saying it today that I'm going to find a way onto the Valuetainment roster.
Yes. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, and I'm going to, in whatever capacity that is, as I see him hang out at the VIP dinner, whatever it is, I'm going to find a way to get into that door, right? Because he's going to see me on the same level as the other speakers in there. And so there'll be an opportunity for us to resonate, right? It was the same thing with 10X, just like Roland just said. We manifested speaking on the 10X stage. Pace and I went to 10X. We bought a ticket. We sat in the seat. We went to Vegas, went to the Mandalay Bay. We sat in the seats. And why did we do that? Because we were going to learn a bunch of shit at 10X? No.
You wanted to be on the stage someday, so you had to be in the room first.
100%. I needed to know what it felt like to be in that room. I needed to understand the energy. I needed to understand what it felt like. I needed to understand what the stage looked like, all of it. And then Pace and I sat in there for 20 minutes. It was a $2,000 ticket each, plus hotel, plus air, right? So we probably each spent $5,000 to get there for 20 minutes.
Wow.
We sat in that seat 20 minutes, and then we looked at each other. We're like, you got it? Got it. You know what it is? Yeah. Can you feel it? Yeah. It's in your head? Yeah. Let's go. We got out of there. The next 10X, we were on the stage. That was it. We manifested it, but we manifested it because we wouldn't have understood what that room felt like unless we had walked through the door.
Yep. And felt like what it was going to feel like from the perspective of the people that were going to listen to you someday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the intentions, right? What's your intention? Now, I have my intention for Clever Summit. What's your intention? Coming to Clever Summit 2024, what's your intention going to be? Are you coming to meet 10 new JV partners? Set the intention.
Yep.
Before
100%.
as you're paying for that ticket, like how many of you are clicking on the link today and are going to go get your ticket? Look, even if you still don't know how you're going to get there in September, even if you don't know how you're going to get there, don't worry about it. You'll figure that part out, right? Either you'll meet somebody who might carpool with you. If you don't know how you're going to get your hotel figured out, people are sharing rooms. I mean, all of these things, the dominoes start to fall once you start setting the intention to go somewhere. So get the ticket, set your intention of what you want.
Yes.
I want to buy this $297 ticket, which, by the way, guys, just so you're aware, like they don't make money on those tickets.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a really cheap conference
right?
ticket.
Like nobody's getting rich because you bought a $300 ticket from them, right? So you understand that you're using them at that level.
Right.
You're taking advantage of the person putting on the event at that level because you're extracting a ton of value for a very little amount of money. Set the intention. I want to meet 10 people. I want to grow my business from 1 deal a month to 4 deals a month. And I'm going to do that by connecting with 30 new JV partners at Clever Summit 2024. Set the intention.
I love it. So Mindy Jones, who is an agent here in the Valley, she's a great way of like putting a pretty bow on that. She's like, imagine it's your birthday and you could have an unlimited opportunity to get every single wish come true that you wanted from that networking event. What would that look like for you? Right? So like what you just said is kind of like your basic level of like, I'm going to set my intention. I'm going to set my goal. But what is like the best thing that you could just say, this is going to happen. This is my birthday. I'm going to put the wildest, biggest goals out there.
So I'm going to share a story. I shared this at the community camp. My plan was I'll expand on this next Sunday on my mindset call.
Okay.
On my live stream on YouTube, but I'm going to share a bit of the story right now. Okay. So you guys are getting a little sneak peek. You can set an intention as crazy as I want to make $100 million from Clever Summit 2024. And you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, what the F is this guy talking about? How in God's green earth am I going to be able to go into a networking event and come out with the opportunity to make $100 million? Catch this. So it's 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My goal was to create a company that I'd be able to exit for $100 million.
Yep.
Okay. That was my goal. I'm talking tattooed on my spirit goal. Okay. This is like in my DNA. This is what I want. I had no capacity to get this done. Okay. Zero. Okay. I'm still doing business with Chris. Okay. A good friend of both of ours. Right. So Chris is who I'm doing JV deals with. And I am doing good wholesale business, making some money, but I'm not doing anything that's going to become
He was like
$100
your
million.
dispo partner at the time.
He was a
right?
good dispo partner. Yeah. But the struggles that I had with him was that we were at two different stages in our life, right? Whereas I was newly married, super like just I needed to work 7 days a week. I want like no breaks, no vacations, just hustle, 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 hustle. Chris was on another frequency. He was like, I've made my money. I'm already rich. I have an 80-foot yacht. You know, I want to go and like enjoy my boat every once in a while. And I don't need your permission to do that, little man. Right. So I would get upset because I would want to know when he was leaving town and he would never tell me. It was just one of the things that was kind of causing friction between the two of us because he would just disappear to the Bahamas. Right. He knows this. So me even saying this doesn't hurt his feelings or anything because we're super close. I love the guy.
He loves you.
And so, which is great, you know, like that we can even be like that today and like still be super close, right? But that was kind of a struggle for me. And so I have this intention of making $100 million company, and I'm not really in a situation where I'm going to be able to do that in the current relationships that I'm in. Now, what ends up happening? I go to a networking event, and Torsten Colson, who you may know,
I do.
He finds me at that event and says, "Hey, man, would you be interested in coming to a sandwich packing party on the weekend?" And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, I've noticed my kid's becoming a little entitled. Like he just expects me to buy anything he wants. Like, you know, he points at it and he's like, 'Dad, buy it. Dad, you have money. Buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it.' He's like, my kid's just becoming a spoiled brat." He's like, "I imagine since you're making money that you may be struggling with the same thing. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. I'm not presuming to know, but I'm just saying that what I want to do is I want to get a bunch of us together who are doing well, and I want us to all bring our kids, and I want to one evening make like 500 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, pack them in little lunch bags, and then the next day we're going to go deliver them to homeless people in the park in downtown."
I love it.
And so I was like, sounds like a plan. Count me in, right? So I'm at this sandwich packing party, and this goofy redhead dude comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, are you Jamil?" I do a really bad impression of him. It sounds like Goofy when I say it. And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, you're the guy who does all the deals, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, would you like to do business with me someday? I do really good at dispo." And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of
got like a vibe, like you got nothing in common.
We have nothing in common at all. Like we would never see me and this dude hanging out in the real world, right? You know, like we're not going to be at a club together. It's not happening like that. So there would be no reason why him and I would meet.
Yeah.
Right.
Over charity though, like
but
that's
at a charity situation. That's like, we meet in that circumstance. Anyhow, that week, I call Chris on a Monday morning because I have 2 new deals under contract, and it gets that funny ring. Dude.
Oh, out of range?
Dude. No, he's out of the country.
Okay, yeah, that's out of
right. He's out of the country ring. You get the you're out of the country ring. I'm like,
this is before WhatsApp existed.
Yes,
I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this SOB left again, and he didn't tell me. Right. And I'm blowing his phone up. Nothing. Right. I call his brother, and I'm like, "Tim, where's your bro?" He's like, "Oh, he didn't tell you? He's in the Bahamas." I'm like, "Yeah, I could have guessed." I'm like, "Do you know when he's going to land?" He's like, "No idea. He doesn't tell me anything either." I'm like, "Okay, see ya." So now I've got these 2 deals. I've got no way to sell them. Short inspection periods. What do?
Call the redhead.
I call the redhead.
And for those of you guys watching, I do not know this story. This is the first time I'm hearing it too.
And so he picks up, and I'm like, "It's your lucky day. I got a deal for you. You want to sell it?" Now, redhead ends up being in Australia at the time. So it's the middle of the day for me, but it's the middle of the night for him. And at first, he sends me to voicemail. Hear this, though.
He didn't have your number in his phone.
He did have my number.
Oh, he did?
Phone. Yeah. He sends me to voicemail. And I kid you not, I swear to God, I'm telling you the truth. He tells this story today, and it gives me like shivers. He says, "I heard God say to me at that moment, never send Jamil to voicemail, always answer his calls." And he's like, he was freaked out. He called me right back. He's like, hey, man. I'm like, you want to do a deal? He's like, yeah. I said, okay, I'm texting it to you. It's your lucky day. Let's go. That's what happened.
Wow.
I don't really share that often with people, but that's what he sent me the voicemail and he answered the phone. And he's like, since that day, he always answers my call because that note, God knew that was my biggest problem was that Chris would never answer my phone calls.
But you'd never explained that to him either.
No. I never told Josiah nothing. Josiah and you didn't know there were any issues between Chris and I. He had no clue.
Wow.
He gets that deal in his text message. He's on the other end of the world. It's the other time. It's like the next day in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
He sends out the deal. He sells it in 15 minutes.
Wow.
I have another one. I had 2 deals. I'm shocked that he gets this thing done like that. I give it to him. Sells it in 15 minutes. And so now I'm like, isn't that something? This young little whippersnapper
that I met
at a sandwich packing party picked up my phone call, or actually called me back right away, and he sold my deals in 15 minutes. This is insane.
I gotta tell you though, one of my favorite things about doing charity work is like the relationships that you build with the people that are there are quite incredible.
Yeah, because the people it attracts are
it's a different vibe,
right? So anyhow,
that's so cool.
Fast forward, right? Josiah becomes my business partner at Keegley, right? Co-founder of Keegley. That's the redhead. In addition to that, goes on to starting New Reach Education, which is the publishing company that puts out Sub 2,
all of the education
and Astro Flipping. So at the end of the day, had I not gone to that sandwich packing party, Keegley doesn't exist, Astro doesn't exist, Sub 2 doesn't exist.
Thank you, Torsten.
I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah.
How crazy is that? Now, back to the intention. I set an intention to build a $100 million company. How the heck would I have known it was going to come out of a sandwich packing party? You don't. That's the thing, is you don't know who God is going to develop and how they're going to develop in your life and how your lives are going to develop together. But you have to have faith and you got to trust and you have to set those intentions and be really clear about them. Because when you're clear about those intentions and you set them with earnest and you set them in authenticity and you really want it. Remember, it's that prayer I always say before I start typical trainings, right? It's that God lead us to those individuals that'll be of benefit to us, either through a financial gain or a lesson we need to learn. God does that. He will put you in rooms or put you in situations so that you can find those opportunities so that you can get your financial gains or get the lessons that you need to learn, whatever it is. If you're in that room, God wanted you there, right?
Yes.
And so you're either going to learn or you're going to earn. You get to pick it. Which one is it? So set your intention for what you're going to achieve out of Clever Summit. You don't know if the person that you're sitting beside is going to be the individual that gets you to your $100 million idea. You have no clue, right? No idea.
No. And you just never know until you dream big enough, right? So I'd say start with the birthday party analogy. So imagine that you could have every single thing happen at that event that would like make your birthday amazing. And then go with something like middle of the road. Like, okay, this is definitely more than I had hoped for, but it's not quite hitting that birthday party thing. And then go with, your basics. Like for me, I will not go to a networking event just to network. That is such a waste of my time. If I can't leave that room with appointments to do business with at least 3 people, I'm wasting my time, right? Like that's barrier to entry, very minimum standard. If I can't have 10 quality conversations to determine there are 3 people in this room whose lives I can impact, benefit, and do business with, then I'm in the wrong room and I'm moving 100%. On. Right. So, you have to have those tangibles for yourself. Now, then I also backtrack to figure out, well, how many phone calls and how many places do I need to go do research on to figure out which rooms are the right ones? Well, there's a little, mud when it comes to that. But I think there are so many opportunities, especially here in Arizona, for networking, right? For investors, for agents, there are unlimited opportunities for that. If you guys are, Keegley does meetups. We've got the Phoenix RIA meetups for investors. We've got different classes and things. Every single day, there is something cool going on, and we don't put on education that's like not killer.
Right. Now, we were talking about being memorable, right?
Yes.
And I think I went off on a tangent, and I want to bring up Nathan Harris. Nathan Harris is somebody in the Astro community, and he pulls he pulls out all the stops to be memorable at an event.
Okay.
So he'll typically make sure he's wearing a T-shirt that
Okay.
has words on it that says what his superpower is, right? So
Love it.
So if he's like, I'm a incredible dispo wholesaler.
You know exactly who he is.
I can sell all of your deals, right? So if you're a person in acquisitions and you've had a problem selling your deals and you are at a networking event and you see this tall guy with a T-shirt who says that he wants to sell your deals, are you going to talk to him or not? Of course you're going to talk to him, right? And so he makes himself memorable because he tells you what his superpower is and how he can help you on his shirt.
It's so smart because then people are just going up to him.
Correct. Now,
Brilliant.
What will you do to be memorable at your event when you show up, right? Are you going to wear something unique? Are you going to be in like Dina, for instance, right? Dina is very memorable at events because she dresses like $1 million, right? She's always got really beautiful shoes on. She's got beautiful clothes on. Her hair is always nice. Her makeup's always done nice. She doesn't show up like she just rolled out of bed. She shows up because she shows up like she's at an event to make money and look professional and beautiful, and she does her thing, right? So she's memorable. So how are you going to show up to these things? Are you going to be memorable? Are you going to classy? Are you going to be, what are you going to bring? What version of you are you going to bring out? We all have different versions of us. I can tell you she probably doesn't look like this when she goes to bed at night. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. I don't know. But I'm sure you put your PJs on and you get your little unicorn stuff on and you get your little stuffies and you go to sleep, right? And so she's got bedtime Dina. She's got
Business Dina.
She's got,
I call them all costumes,
right?
I'm like, which costume look at my calendar, which costume am I wearing today?
And would you say your personality changes slightly for different versions of Dina?
For sure. Yeah.
Right? So what version of you is your best version? Right? Show up as that person. Does that mean that you've got to wear something that channels that person? Wear that outfit, right? If it's whatever that is that puts you in your confidence, whatever it is that makes you shine, that lets you show up and show out, that's the person you need to be when you come to these events so that people remember you.
When you look good, you feel good, right? So for me, it might be the shoes, right? I get ready from the bottom up. A lot of people don't do that. But for you, it could be jewelry. It could be your earrings. It could be a black T-shirt. It could be your favorite pair of jeans. Like it could be whatever it is that makes you feel good is great.
100%. Absolutely. Okay, cool. What else do we want to talk about?
I would say like another not to do, don't overstay your welcome, right? So if you've made your value proposition and you've made your impression and you've had a quality connection, move on. Yeah,
don't linger. Okay, so oh my God, so I'm not gonna name any names, but just recent event, right? I had a lingerer.
Ooh.
Okay, I had a lingerer who was like,
those make me itch. Like these are the things that make me itch.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there, we were chatting a little bit, and then all of the things that I could have helped or that I could have answered were answered. And then I kind of went on to continuing to do the thing that I was doing. Actually, I was eating. So I went off. I started like biting my food again, which at networking events, if you see someone mid-bite, it might not be the best time to go up and like ask them a question that's going to need like a long drawn out answer, because just remember they're human beings as well. And like, if they're eating, they're probably just wanting to finish the food anyways. So I'm like the person's still hanging around. And then
Don't linger a little longer.
we know what I did? I sent her to Bobby.
Never a great sign.
I sent her to Bobby. I was like, oh, you know who's going to be able to help you with that? Bobby. He's right over there. Go get Bobby. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she went over to Bobby, and like half an hour later, I looked and she was still with Bobby.
He was too nice to dismiss her. See, and that's where things get. Things just get awkward, right? Because you want to be respectful, you want to be memorable. You've made your quality connection. Now it's time to move on, because you can definitely overstay your welcome and blow everything that you did right.
Yeah, it's just a little strange, right? Now I get it. Look, there's people that if I'm around, there's people who I consider heroes and people that I consider that I look up to, and I'm so grateful that people are inspired by me and that people love me, and I'm never going to be the guy who's like, get away, I'm too good for you.
It's
not me. I absolutely feel so grateful to have the people in my world that care about me and that are on this journey with me. God bless you guys, and thank you so much for this, right? Thank you so much for the time and the attention and the love. It's incredible. So just know that. But the other side of that is that like I have also noticed that I've been in that situation when I've been a little creepy, right? Where I've been like, I hung around a little too long. I lingered a little bit, or maybe I asked or said something that, because like
everybody gets nervous. It's normal.
I'm a funny guy, right?
You're a very funny guy,
but not all the time. And sometimes, especially if I really like someone, I might try too hard to be funny. And then I'll say something that's really not funny, right? Something that's a little bit
too, like you cross the line.
I crossed the line a little, and and it's just like
it's hard to peel back.
Cringeworthy, you know. It's just like, oh, I just said a cringy joke. Dude, now I feel like a total weirdo. Like, dang it, right? And all I needed to do was just have known when the time was right. Hey, Bob, can you let Benny out? I needed to know when the time was to exit the conversation. Yes. Which I hadn't picked up on. So it's emotional intelligence. It's understanding and knowing.
High EQ.
It's knowing when it's the time to like kind of scooch in the other direction.
And I think also just something, fortune's in the follow-up, right? So you make a good impression. I'd say after a networking event, you want to make sure that you're following up within 2 business days or they forgot about you.
Absolutely. I think the last one that you have on here would be a great one to close us out, because I think that this is the hard part for people to do.
This is hard.
Because when you're in an environment where you feel like a fish out of water, you want to be around fish that you know.
And one pro tip is like build your tribe so that you are going into networking events feeling comfortable. But then the real pro tip is to step away from them.
Yeah.
Step away from them and make new tribe members while you're there. And, you know, you can enter a room really comfortable with your tribe built. And you've got somebody to go to if things get weird or your conversations are, there's a lull of some sort, but you have to step away from your people, you know? So if you're going to a networking event and you've got your group of 3 or 4, that's great. But you're not there to network with each other. You guys take that offline and you work together on a regular. You don't need that while you're in the event. That's not going to benefit you guys.
100%.
You got to step away from that. We tell our team the same thing. We're like, we don't want to see you guys hanging out with each other.
So set this now, right? For all of you attending Clever Summit 24, go with friends, go with your homies, but tell each other, hey, once we walk in there, let's hold ourselves accountable for not hanging out with each other.
And set the stage for sure so that you guys are all like holding each other accountable. Yeah, right? It's so smart.
So that you guys can each go out and make new friends and then bring those new friends to your tribe.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So each of you need to be going out deciding to say, I'm going to go collect 5 or 10 new people for our crew.
Yes.
And then that way you can bring new people and do it that way and think about the dinners. Think
exponential growth.
Exactly. If I can invite 5 people to dinner with us and you can invite 5 people to dinner with us and you can invite 5 people to dinner with us, then maybe we can at our Airbnb tonight, we can have 30 new people, and we can order, 5 pizzas.
Yeah,
they're super cheap, and we can all sit here and be friends and talk best practices and hang out. Right?
Yes.
That's a vibe. That's how you take advantage of a networking event like that. So again, Bobby's going to put the link in the chat one more time. I hope to see you guys all at Clever Summit 2024. It's going to be, I don't know about that's you got mine, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Jamil, the forwarding takes 15 seconds. Somebody understands. Like, is it not working? So I'm just doing the direct.
Please, don't do that.
100%.
So, for those of you guys that are also
Thank
here
you.
this week and you're looking for a charity event, since we're talking about that, on Thursday, we are volunteering at Midwest Food Bank
I'll be there.
at 9 in the morning.
Oh my God.
9 in the morning.
I love you, Dina.
So that's going to be fun. And you never know who you're going to be packing sandwiches with. And in this case, we are doing things to help our homeless community. And we are also making cards for women that are going through breast cancer treatment. So that'll be a fun one.
I got to say, I love my friend who on her birthday makes the decision to give her birthday up to other people for a great cause. And so I'll be there. I will 100% be there Thursday morning.
Thursday morning
At 9. It's not that I'm not awake. I'm
No,
up.
I know you're awake.
I'm just like, that's like prime time, Jamil time, but it's Dina time this Thursday.
Yes. Nothing makes me happier than bringing a community together to do something for other people.
So Dina, where will they find information on that?
I think we can drop a link in the chat. Let me find it for you.
Midwest Food Bank
Yes.
event. That's the one. Yeah. Pansy, she's so great. I think she's going to be there. So yeah, we'd love to see you guys out there. Come be a part of Dina's goal to help the food bank and to provide some assistance to women who are going through breast cancer.
Yeah, and it'll be fun.
It's going to be a lot.
You never know who you're going to meet.
You never, this is a full circle conversation because I was talking about the sandwich packing
I know.
party actually changing my life, and so this could be your sandwich packing party.
Yes, there will definitely be agents. We have turned this into a Fidelity Gives event for the company. So our wholesale team will be there. They've been sharing this with their clients and our escrow officers, and it'll be a fun full circle moment.
Bobby, will you be there? Bobby's going to be there.
Yvette's going to be there.
Going to be there.
Rahima's going to be there.
Rahima's going to be there. It's going to be.
I think your daughter might come.
My daughter's. And if you guys don't know who Yvette is, Bobby, maybe you can put that picture in the chat.
No, let's not do that.
Oh, okay. She's gonna be so mad if I did. Did you see that picture? It's hilarious. Wow, I can't believe how fast the hour went.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun. We hope you guys liked this topic. I think coming out of community camp, I was like, this has to be one of the things that nobody gave me a playbook for, that I've just kind of like learned on the fly. And I wish somebody gave me a playbook for
100%. Absolutely. Set the intentions, guys. I'll see you all Thursday if you can make it. Otherwise, we'll see you at Clever Summit.